Thanks for joining us here on the Bill Mason Show. We have a great show for you tonight, emergency show actually. How you doing today, Bill?
I'm doing well. I'm free to move. I can go to the food store, I can get gas, and I can go to work right now because I'm considered essential. So I'm
Yep.
on the side of the economy.
Yeah, I think all the businesses are saying they're essential nowadays. My
Yeah.
business is essential. Everybody's business is essential nowadays. So everybody's going to work anyway. Well, most people are. I rode by the some restaurants and they were kind of empty.
Yeah. I mean, I in my business, I know that they are running at 10% capacity, takeout only.
Hmm. Yeah, some big news today, though, as far as the virus. This show is all going to be about virus tonight.
Yeah.
That's what's going on. That's what the emergency is. The virus is overtaken China as the most infested country in the world. And so let's take a look at the numbers. All right, so here's the map. Um, we have United States with 83,507 infections compared to the bogus number of China, 81,000.
What a joke.
We know they have hundreds of thousands of infections in China. They lied. So the deaths in the United States so far, 1,201. And Italy's really getting hammered. Look at that, 8,215.
Big time. And I mean, they have, I mean, what, 60 million? We have 300. I mean, this is a huge hit for them. It really is.
It is, big time. And then you got Spain, they overtook in China as well. Of course, China, we know, is way over 200,000 people dead.
Oh, yeah.
But Spain, 4,365 dead.
Yeah.
And so it's not looking for good for Spain either. So we have, so those are some of the numbers. We're going to go over some more numbers as far as the United States is concerned. But we had Dr. Fauci on today. He talked about the vaccines and stuff. So let's go over there and see what's going on with him, okay?
Brutally honest Fauci.
Yep.
The topic just a little bit because there was a questions that came up and I've been asked about this on a couple of media interactions regarding the interventions that we're talking about. And it's important because it's about something that I said yesterday about what we would likely see. Whenever you put the clamps down and shut things down, you do it for two reasons. You do it to prevent the further spread, this we call mitigation, but you also do it to buy yourself time to get better prepared for what might be a rebound. It may be a rebound that we get things really under control, and then you pull back, which ultimately we're going to have to do. Everybody in the world is going to have to do that. You're either going to get a rebound or it might cycle into the next season. So what are we going to do to prepare ourselves for that? One of the most important things is one that I mentioned several times from this podium, and that is to clarify a bit about the timeline for vaccines. And would that have any real impact on what we would call a rebound or what we would call a cycling in the season? Certainly, for sure, a vaccine is not going to help us now, next month, the month after. But as I mentioned to you, we went into a phase 1 trial, and I keep referring to one vaccine. There's more than one. There's a couple of handfuls of vaccines at different stages of development.
There he is. So Dr. Fauci, there you are, Bill. So Dr. Fauci talked about the vaccine. So we're not going to have that for months.
No, and honestly, the problem between the vaccines is that there's more than one strain. One strain seems to be able to go dormant in your body and be reactivated. That's something that a virus can't help. Mm-hmm. So a virus, they inject a form of a dead antibody or whatever into your bloodstream, and then your body goes, oh, there it is, and it knows how to fight it. Well, these two strains, one of them is a sleeper cell basically in your body. Mm-hmm. That's the problem.
Right, that is the problem. I mean, there's two strains. There's S and then there's a L. L is more lethal. We talked about that last show. So you can get the S and you can get the L back again. Your antibodies won't be able to help you, and then you're dead. So again, we talked about that last time. Let's take a look at the deaths. Again, United States, 82,523. China 81, Italy's getting hammered 80,000, Spain 57, and so on and so forth. What really, of course, we talked about this before. Italy 8,215 deaths, and let's take a look at state by state. So state,
New York, holy cow!
yeah, New York's getting hammered, 37,000 cases,
Yep.
385 deaths total. New Jersey second.
Yeah.
And you got California. I heard California is going to be the big time epicenter, and so
Yeah.
is Louisiana.
Well, they had ordered close to 1 million tests, and apparently they only send them out in packs of 25,000. So you basically get a 25,000 for a district, and that's supposed to last you for a day. That's the reason these Philadelphia ones, these drive-ups, people wait for hours with an appointment with a doctor's barcode that's on your phone, and then you show up and they go, sorry, come back tomorrow.
Yeah, that's not good. Waiting for hours for a test. Come back tomorrow and then you're sick on top of that.
Yeah, for hours. And I mean, and some of these people are almost too sick to drive. It's bad.
Yeah, it is bad. So, and the numbers are exploding in the United States. I don't see how we can, come back to work and around Easter. I just don't understand how we can do that.
Yeah, I think that was a bad. Everybody wanted him to put a number out there, a definite number. But even Fauci said that's unrealistic. Viruses aren't on a time clock. They don't punch in and punch out. They don't care how long these things take. And they're fighting to survive just like the human population is right now.
They are. So let's go look at the worldview again. Italy, 8,200. We have a video of Italy with all the coffins. New video came out today. Let's take a look at that, okay?
Sono Don Mario Carminati, sono il parroco di Seriate, parrocchia grande della diocesi di Bergamo. Abbiamo accolto le salme di queste persone che sono morte in questi 25-27 giorni e in attesa che possano essere cremate. Piuttosto che metterli in un altro luogo abbiamo preferito dare la disponibilità di una delle nostre chiese, questa di San Giuseppe, per poterli ospitare, metterli già nella casa del Signore. Poi ne arriveranno altri, mi hanno detto, e preghiamo per loro, la comunità prega per loro.
There we are, truckloads of coffins.
Yeah, man, and those are such small towns. The way Italy is these little, towns with populations in the hundreds. Littered in these little like you sprinkled pepper all over Italy, and they're really close communities. And I can understand why they want to put their local dead in the local church, because they're not just numbers to them.
They're not. Yeah, definitely. I know some Italians and family really matters in Italy, so they're close-knit people. So
right.
Hopefully those deaths will come down, but it's not looking good for them right now. So what's going to happen? Really, this virus is going to continue on for months. The economy is, people won't be able to work. They won't be able to get any food. Of course, We're getting a $1,200 check or whatever for people. Yeah. So what is that really going to do? Is that going to be enough?
No. In a word, no. And I read that bill, not to go off on a tangent, but it is garbage. They should all be ashamed of themselves. I know the Republicans could have put up more of a fight to take that crap that was loaded into it out of it, but they did not, because they felt like if they held it up, they didn't want to be holding the hot potato. But it was garbage. There's at least probably like $10 billion worth of complete crap, and probably close to a $500 billion of them just paying back the wind and solar and all these other industries that support these Democrat lunatics.
Right. I know Canada's paying their people a couple $1,000s for 4 months.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of countries are doing that. So, I mean, that's what we're going to have to do here. That, $1,200 is not going to make it.
They're going to have to revisit. The stimulus bill this was a dog and pony show. I think they're going to go 2 more rounds, if not more, that are going to be just for the people. If not, people are going to show up in Washington, D.C. with the virus and pull these people out by their hair.
Yeah, they will. I mean, they're getting ready for something big. So we have National Guard movements around the country. Last time we showed Chicago and New York coming through. Let's take a look at Sacramento, California, okay?
Yeah.
There we are. And take a look at L.A.
Believers. This is downtown Los Angeles. They got hella tanks down here. Look, right here. Look, I'm walking across the street for y'all. Look. And this is what we dealing with downtown LA. Y'all won't think I'm bullshitting? Downtown. Look, Dodger Stadium over there, so y'all won't think I'm bullshitting. Y'all better get ready. These motherfuckers about to do some shit to us, bro. This is a whole nother side of the bridge. That shit goes way back over there on that side. This is a whole different side of the bridge. What the fuck? We need answers around here in California. Because there's no way we got over 100-something tanks, bro. They trying to kill us.
What else you want? Those are the answers.
That's crazy, bro.
Alright, he thinks we're going to kill him. So, so this is for the lockdown that could happen later on. For more of a total lockdown. Martial law.
It's for civil unrest purposes. Right. Nothing moves a tank. I understand why they're bringing tanks. You put 2 of them nose to nose on the end of a street and you're not getting through. It makes perfect sense. But you look at some of those other Humvees, not a lot of people know, how they're equipped, but the ones with the bird nest on top, they're set up for 50 cals, but they can also fire tear gas, smoke grenades, all kind of stuff out of those. And there's ones with LRADs, and an LRAD is a crowd control device that emits a high frequency pitch. I don't know if you've heard them on, for shows or whatever. It's for crowd dispersement. Right. So they're really preparing for some form of large, demonstration type of holdback, like a Hong Kong protest.
Right. Because when people get desperate, they start the riot. So, but again, today was the largest unemployment numbers today too, as well, in history. Of course,
I can only imagine. We turned off the engine.
We turned off the engine, exactly.
That's what we did.
It wasn't Trump's fault. It wasn't anybody's fault. It's just the virus's fault.
Right.
The Chinese virus, that is. So let's take a look at the unemployment numbers. There he is. So it spiked like that. So, of course, we already knew that was going to happen. Turn things off, it's going to spike.
Yep.
So 3.2 million people filed for unemployment. It's probably going to be another spike next time, too, as well. And so there you have it. I hate to toot a horn, though. We called this how long ago? 3 months ago?
Yep. You want basically 2.5. I think we started really ringing the bell. 3 months ago, we saw the signs, but 2.5, we were ringing the bell, man.
Yeah, back in January 29th, we had a show, Pandemic Happening Now. We warned of pandemic and economic collapse. So we talked about it. We warned people, but I don't think anybody's listening.
No, yes, do we get throttled by YouTube? Yes, we do. Do we get throttled by Twitter? Yes, we do, because we're a message that we're unfiltered. So no one likes the bare truth, the ugly truth. That's why they loved Obama. He was the master of painting pretty lies, man. He could tell you he was going to punch you in the face and make it sound so sweet you couldn't wait for it.
Right. So again, we have tomorrow's news today, as people might say.
Yeah.
So we have it here. If you go back to our shows back in January, we were just talking about virus before anybody else was talking about it.
Not only that, we were talking about getting ready, like have some food and water, because this
Mhm.
is going to disrupt your life. I can remember those shows. We also talked about the strain that was going to happen on the medical industry.
Right.
And it was just not, you didn't have to be like super intelligent to see it, but you definitely had to pull your head out of your butt for 20 seconds to breathe clean air.
Exactly, at least 20 seconds.
Yeah, that's it, just a little bit.
All right, so we know how deadly this thing is. I mean, this thing. I mean, it's like a chameleon. It hops from one healthy person, kills them, and goes to somebody else that doesn't kill them at all, from mild to deadly. We do have a woman here in China, I think, has the virus. She cannot breathe. Let's take a look at the symptoms here.
Okay.
I mean, look at that. I mean, I read a report the other day that it feels like glass. You're breathing
Yeah.
some kind of glass.
And like a couple months ago, before China really put the firewall up really hard, they were tweeting out stuff like, it feels like you're a fish out of water, like you're trying to breathe something you're not supposed to, and you feel like, I know I'm gonna die. That's how they feel when they get that shortness of breath. They're like, this is it.
Right. Yeah, so I do not want to have this. I mean, it doesn't
No,
seem like it's a fun thing to have.
Yeah. And you know what? Before we go off on a tangent, like the people that are essential, that are going out there and they're risking catching this, the people that are working in the food stores, which are essential, the people that have to show up at 6 a.m. to make sure the shelves are stocked, and have this bum rush of people coming in expecting everything to be there and everything to be like normal, and they're ready to buy 25 cartons of eggs and expect there to be some tomorrow. I mean, it's crazy, but we're realizing there's another thin line. We talked about after 9/11, a thin blue line, the thin red line of firemen and EMTs. We're finding another thin line of just average people that go to work and do what they're supposed to. And they're more important than anything now. And it doesn't matter how rich you are or powerful, you need things. And they're the ones that are risking their livelihood, to show up and maybe catch the virus, so you can have your bulk toilet paper.
Yeah, I mean, they're not even letting them wear masks in the grocery stores, and the reason why is
it doesn't look good.
Well, not only that is that the CDC is issuing these guidelines because they're out of masks. You know what I mean? So they need it for the first responders, but what about the first responders for the grocery store? They're considered as a first responder because they're always busy. We need food. And were they let them die?
It's another front line. Like, no one realizes that there's definitely a front line to where the nurses and doctors are. They are the tip of the spear right now. They face it head on. But the next battlefield that is being faced is just people that literally work at gas stations that have to touch 100 different gas nozzles and stuff like that. I mean, if you don't pump your own gas, and if you do pump your own gas, definitely wear a glove, because I've seen some shocking videos about what people do before they pump gas.
Yeah,
so
you
that being said,
you definitely need to wear a glove when you're pumping gas. I mean, we're not as convenient as you guys in near New Jersey, where they pump the gas for you.
Right.
Most of the country, we have to pump our own gas, unfortunately.
Right, but seriously, a lot of people touch that thing, and they do dastardly stuff before they touch that thing.
Oh yeah. So make sure you wear your glove. That's where a lot of Italy shut down all the gas stations, and because it was, being spread by the gas stations. So,
well, it also stopped the movement. So not that I'm predicting that to happen, but New York being such an epicenter, they're going to shut off the gas in New York because they don't want people to have the mobility, the reason to move, and the reason to leave. They had over 1 million people out of New York City leave, and they're going to Fort Lauderdale. They're going to Miami. They're going to even Texas and California. They have cabins in Colorado. These are the elite, but because they're so elite, they don't listen to quarantines.
No.
They just got they got out of New York and they have it.
Right. And they're spreading it around everywhere else.
Right.
That's the reason why California, New York, of course, is already epicenter. Florida's going to be epicenter. All these places is just going to explode.
Yeah. And I can't imagine the small communities in North Carolina right now that are also complaining, because I kind of follow Appalachia. I'm a bit of a fan, but the small communities in North Carolina that are saying that these New Yorkers are coming down with cash in hand, ready to buy cabins. They're ready to bug out in the mountains, and they don't realize that these little towns with a population of maybe 1,000 people, okay, they don't want your virus from New York City. They're actually trying to stay safe themselves.
Right.
So they come in with their New York money, throw it around, and try to buy a piece of property in a cabin in a hurry. They want to close in 5 days. This is what I'm hearing from realtors in the area, that they're willing to pay 50% over asking price, and they want to close in 5 days.
Oh, wow. That's good for the realtor.
Yeah, it's good for realtors.
Good
But
for
it's
people
not-
owning.
See, that's the thing. It's good for realtors, okay? But you got to choose health over wealth, because those little communities get a couple of these virus bringers,
That's right.
and they're really screwed because their medical community can't support it.
That's true. You're right. Yeah, I mean, it's, I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I know we had all the answers back in January, but now we're going into gray area here. We
Well,
don't
because
know.
now it's on our soil. So, we're lucky to watch what China did, but I was aghast at how they handled it.
Right.
They locked people in their apartments. They literally shut down entire highways, freeways. People had no choice but to comply.
Right.
The freedom that we have is going to bite us in the ass a little bit right now, because no one likes a quarantine, and we're going to probably surpass numbers that no one ever expected.
Right. All right. Well, I agree. So hopefully we can flatten that curve, but I don't see that happening.
No, people are moving.
People are moving around. People are just doing whatever they want to do.
Right.
We have friends that are still going to the beach, and it's closed.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do? You had to put the National Guard out there to get them off the beach.
Actually, in Philadelphia, they're taking down the basketball hoops in public parks
Okay.
because the kids are still out of school and they're still playing pickup basketball and all this stuff. So now they have the public works people going around and taking down the basketball hoops to try to deter them from gathering and playing basketball.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know Chicago mayor said if you're out exercising, you could be arrested.
Yeah. And also, I'm pretty sure Virginia's governor said, if you're in church on Easter Sunday, you will be arrested.
Oh,
He
wow.
actually would mandate.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
I am no fan of Governor Northam, but man, he has cayunes the size of boulders. He really doesn't care at this point.
I think we probably need a preacher on our show to say maybe a prayer before we start the show every day.
Yeah, because I think people of faith, when they don't have their local minister or that little gathering, even if it's a small gathering, if they don't have that, they start to really panic.
Right.
Because that's their once a week. I'm going to get back. I'm going to get right with myself. I'm going to get right with my family. And you take that away, and you have them hunkered down in a house with no money coming in and an empty refrigerator. And who looks like God at that point? The state.
Yeah. Yeah, they're depending on the state after that for food
Right.
and everything else.
Exactly.
Well, speaking of lockdown, so we have India on a 21-day lockdown, and people on the streets, they're taking care of them. Let's take a look and see what they're doing.
It's just a caning.
Yeah, that wouldn't happen in the United States, I tell you that.
You're like, are you nuts, dude? There's no way.
Yeah, I would get a bigger stick.
Yeah, that's why we have the Second Amendment for that reason.
Right.
You're not hitting me with a stick, man.
Yeah. Slap him in the head.
Unreal. But I mean, you look at the underlying factor. It's maintaining order. Maintain order. They put it in the hands of these people, and that's it. They're gonna find a way to maintain order.
Right.
They'll use whatever force they have available to them. The scariest thing is that FEMA has unimaginable force available to them. So
Hmm. Yeah, this is the Philippines.
that's the Philippines. Yeah, I thought it was India.
It was India. This is the Philippines now.
Oh, this is Philippines.
Yeah. They're placing a dog catcher cage.
Unreal, man.
That's India again. So we don't want to play that over again, but anyway, so I mean, India's going crazy. They're locked down, so rightly they should, because if that place gets eat up with it, I mean, they have this as many people as China. You know, they'll have over 200,000 people dead like China does.
We talked about that like week 2 of the virus. I said, man, if this goes to India,
Mm-hmm.
and those poor sections of India where people literally live on top of each other,
Mm-hmm.
like they live in 5x5 rooms,
Right.
you know, like families. It's insane how they live, and it could spread so quick in those environments. And not saying that their big cities don't have big medical, but they also have a caste system where there's a certain level of people that don't matter.
Right.
Okay, and I don't want to shed shade on India, but they have had that for hundreds of years. And if you're born into a system where you don't matter, you don't get health care, you don't get jobs, you don't get anything. You're the lowest class of human.
Right. Yeah.
Forever.
Exactly. So it is going to go there, and there's no question of if, it's when.
Right.
So they're gonna just drop like flies over there.
Yeah. It's gonna get definitely worse before it gets better. And the worst, they laughed when we talked about Spanish flu,
Mm-hmm.
killing almost 60, I think it was 60 million or so.
Right.
This really could get up to those numbers without question.
Oh, it will. I mean, we talked about that, other shows in the past, especially back in January. We said this is going to kill more than Spanish flu because
Yes.
the mortality rate is a lot higher. I mean, it's we talked about 14%. It went down to around 10. So I think probably the actual kill rate is probably around between 3 to 6%.
Right, and it actually depends on environment, availability, of medical treatment. There you can see in different climates, like I was talking about Italy before, very rural, very mountain, small village types. It would take you an hour to get to a big fancy hospital in some of those towns, and they are very old world. Like, put grandma in the room, we'll start making chicken stock and pastina, and we're gonna help grandma. I mean, it's literally really, really hard to get those people to the big cities. And the big cities like Milan, you saw how it spread there so fast. And the same thing, their young people, when they tried to lock it down, in Italy, they said, oh, we're locking it down February 28th or whatever. They partied on the 27th. They went out and all danced all night. So, I mean, you see what you get. And just like we have college kids that were partying in Miami Beach testing positive right now.
Right. Yeah, it's not good. So, I mean, we go around the world. I mean, we do have some good news, kind of, where people in UK are celebrating their medical workers. So let's take a look at that and see what they did. Oh, there it goes on and on. So shows across UK, United Kingdom that clapping for the medical workers, and so it's a pretty special time.
It's amazing that the people are getting together for that, but it's something that we talked about pre-show, that you can't make more nurses out of an order, out of a click of a mouse. You can't make more doctors out of a click of a mouse. Like Elon Musk can choose, he can choose to convert his factory to make respirators, and thank God for that. And GM and all the other companies that are doing that, yes, they can do that. But the amount of study and time that it takes to become a nurse or a doctor, you can't churn them out like machines. And they are a resource that runs out, and they also get sick. So they are the tip of the spear, and it's really dangerous for them to be on the front lines for what they're expected to be, which is 4 12-hour days in a row. And I don't know if that's what they're doing in England, but that's what they're doing in New York City. 4 12-hour shifts in a row with like minimal sleep, which kills your immune system, which makes you more susceptible to catch something. And I mean, they're actually getting rashes from wearing so many PPE on their face,
Right.
and constantly having something on that they're literally trying not to touch their face, but their face is itching and literally peeling from this stuff. I mean, this is a battle like we've never seen.
Right. Yeah, they're telling New York doctors to just to sleep there and stay and
Yeah.
work. Yeah.
4 12-hour shifts,
Right.
one 12-hour off.
Yeah.
Holy cow, that will grind anybody down. That's like a soldier's regimen. I mean, it's crazy.
It is crazy. So, I mean, we have cruise ships out in Miami with sick people. There's four out to sea waiting to be in port. They're just there. So, I don't know what's going to happen.
We don't know how many sick are on those things.
No.
And there's ones that they won't let into port that are Norwegian cruise lines that they won't let port. They're just kind of like out there. I mean,
So I hope they have enough food and water and.
Yeah, well, I think the Norwegian cruise line, the UK actually hella dropped pallets of food and stuff for them, but they can't handle an influx of another. Those ships hold 3,000 people.
Yeah.
You can't just dump 3,000 sick people on shore and be like, okay, find a hospital.
No.
It's
I mean,
bad.
it's amazing how these people go on these cruises when the pandemic is happening. They knew before they loaded these ships that something was going on.
Well, the cancellation rate for cruises is off the chart. We know that now, but there's always those people who are like, "Oh, we gotta chug on. We gotta keep going. We can't let this thing beat us." But meanwhile, that's not the safest place to be on a cruise ship in a time of pandemic virus. So
No.
I'm not calling them stupid, but I'm calling them maybe misinformed.
Right. Yeah, definitely misinformed.
Yeah.
So please, viewers, take a look at our past videos. You'll see that we talked about what's happening now back in January. Also, going forward, we're going to have special guests on the show to show what's going on around the country. And we'll have more and more videos of National Guard movements, people dying, information you need, medications you can take to help with the virus, and that we're being told by doctors and the community. So I hope you join us every Tuesdays and Thursdays. Do you have any last words, Bill?
I just want to say thank you to anyone who's considered a life-sustaining entity that has to go out and do this regardless of what's out there. I want to say thank you to those people. I mean, I'm one of them, but I'm in a truck. I'm in my controlled environment. I do greet people on a small basis, and I wear a mask, but there are people that really can't stop interacting with humans, and it's literally like facing bullets. I mean, at this point. So I want to give a big thanks to anybody who's on that front.
Yes, thank you. And some of my family members are part of that. So thank you, and thanks for watching us here tonight, and you have a wonderful day.
Good night.